Unity of the Huachucas presents Reverend Charli Tupper.
Manifesting Abundance, the Power of Gratitude and Love.
So, today is actually an interesting day. Today is the day of the first day of Advent. It is the day that we talk about faith and hope. And it is also a little over a week before Thanksgiving. And so it is also a time to really think about that heart of thankfulness. But what I really want to start with is I want to start with faith. Because faith is such a dynamic aspect of our lives. It's an intrinsic part of our experience. So we have faith. We have faith. You can't not have faith. But it's where are you putting your faith and what kind of energy are you giving to that faith? I can have faith that I can have faith that when I travel home tomorrow, everything's going to be perfect and wonderful. I can have faith that that's going to happen. Or I can have faith that I have a long drive ahead of me. And what if I'm tired? That's also a form of faith. Did you know that worry is a form of faith? It's just misdirected. It's misdirected faith. And so when we think about faith, one of the things that I think is really important, I found this quote, and it really, really touched my heart. And this quote is from Martin Luther. So this is really old quote. Faith is a living, daring confidence in God's grace, so sure and certain that a man could stake his life on it 1,000 times. That's the faith. That's the faith that Mary had. The faith that Mary had was faith that was living, it was daring, but she trusted in the grace of God. Because really, if she would have, frankly, intellectually thought it through, what would she have come up with? Well, I risk losing my husband. That's probably going to happen. I risk losing my family and my friends. Yeah, that's going to happen. Oh, and then there's that stoning thing. That's a probability. But she didn't stop and think about what was going to happen to her. Her love was so deep and her faith was so pure that all she could say was, "Let it be done unto me as you have said." She'd deal with the consequences later. But she trusted in the grace of God. And because she trusted in the grace of God, her husband didn't divorce her. It doesn't say anywhere that she lost her family and friends. In fact, her cousin welcomed her into her home, knowing that she was pregnant. Just welcomed her into her home. And she most certainly wasn't stoned. Now, was this an easy path for her? Does it mean that by trusting in the grace of God that there was this easy path for her, that she could just sit back on her laurels and go, well, God will take care of it. God will raise that child. No, she had to do her part. Faith is active. And when we say yes to that faith within us, to that love within us, then it is an active thing that we do, and we do it without expectation of return. That's the part. That's the key. Because so often we think about, well, if I do that, what am I going to get out of it? What do I get? Mary didn't, what was Mary going to get? A lot of heartache. She didn't think about what she was going to get. So I want to share a story with you. I found this story, and I love this story. This comes from, this is a story about a rabbi and the secret name of God. So it says, there was once a rabbi so wise and devout that he was considered a saint. God had blessed this rabbi with knowledge no other human possessed. Rumor spread that the rabbi even knew the most secret name of God. A name so holy that whoever said it aloud could perform any miracle they wished. However, there was a catch. Whoever said this secret name of God would never achieve salvation because the name was so holy that it wasn't to be uttered by man. One day, a sick man was brought to the rabbi for healing. This man was so ill, the rabbi realized while the sick man was waiting to see him that he was already on the brink of death. It was too late. The victim would die before the healing could occur. The rabbi felt helpless. At that moment, in pure desperation, the rabbi raised his head to heaven and cried out to God, using the secret forbidden name to heal the dying man. Miraculously, the man opened his eyes and asked for a drink of water and some food. He thanked the rabbi profusely for the miracle that had just been performed. The man explained to the family gathered around that he had seen the gates of heaven open to welcome him, that he had heard the rabbi's voice calling him back to life. He had been brought back from the dead. It was a true miracle. The rabbi's disciples stood by and watched with disbelief. They couldn't believe that their teacher had given up salvation by speaking the forbidden name aloud. The disciples became even more shocked when the rabbi started jumping up and down with glee, giving praise to God. How can you rejoice when you have just given up all hope for salvation? They asked. The rabbi stopped. Don't you see? Don't you understand? Finally, I know I serve God because I love him, not because I hope to get something in return. He continued, the last doubt is finally vanished, the doubt I had for my own motives. I now know my love for God isn't motivated by greed, but by pure love without desire for personal gain. Rejoice with me, my friends, for I am free of myself at last. I love this story because the rabbi didn't think about himself. All he could think about was this person who was in front of him, this person who needed what he had. Now, he could be greedy and he could say, I'm not going to give it to him, because if I give it to him, then I'm going to lose my salvation, and that's a pretty high price to pay. I mean, he's getting old anyway, you know. Maybe he's supposed to die. Maybe that's the divine plan for him. Doesn't go through all of these intellectual gyrations about it. His love is so deep for the person in front of him that he utters the name of God. And he is set free. That is faith. That is faith that is based in grace. Because he had no idea. But he trusted God to heal the man. And whatever transpired after that, he trusted that God would take care of that too. That he would be guided. He would know what to do, because that love that is inside of him would help him to do that. So how do we get in touch with this love that is inside of us and this faith that is inside of us? Because it's one thing to talk about it and talk about a rabbi who you know, has done years and years of meditation and study, but what about just, you know, us ordinary people? How do we get in touch with that kind of faith and love within us? And what I'm going to say is the way that we get in touch with that kind of faith and love within us is to enter into a practice of appreciation. I'm going to talk about the difference between appreciation and gratitude for a moment. Gratitude is thankfulness for something out here. It's something separate. I am so grateful for this building. And I truly am. I'm grateful for this building. Oh, I'm so grateful for the people in this room. Yes, I am. I'm so grateful. But turn that around and use the word appreciation. I appreciate. I appreciate Rick's leadership as the board president. When I enter into a place of appreciation, there is a whole different energy shift that happens in my being. It's a whole different energy. When I am in appreciation for something, I cannot help but smile. I think about, I appreciate that my husband is at home taking care of my pets while I travel. I get to do what I want to do because of what he does for me. And I appreciate with every fiber of my being the love that he shows to me by doing that. There's a different energy around appreciation than just going, thank you. It's kind of like, thank you, and I'm done. Appreciation lingers. It stays with you. And it is said that it is the keyhole to joy. If you want to experience joy and love and faith in your life, appreciation is the keyhole and the key that opens that door. Because when we enter into a state of appreciation, of truly appreciating things, appreciating life itself, appreciating how the divine presence is working out in our lives, we open our eyes and we see with new eyes. That's one of the differences between gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude gives us new vision. Appreciation gives us new vision. And so, one of the things that I have done, I'm going to say this. So this is actually probably my last on-site visit here. I'm going to be stepping down as the MOR for this ministry at the end of January. And so, and I love you guys. It doesn't have anything to do with you guys. It has to do with where I'm being led to be. So I have a parting gift for you. And I created a booklet The Art and Practice of Appreciation. And it's a 40-day practice. So just in case you are not counting down the days like a child would, it is 40 days from today until Christmas. And so this is 40 days of the art and practice of appreciation. And so each day there is a little reading. There's some questions, a couple of questions from the reading that you might contemplate, or there's just information. There's another thing that I added into this booklet of appreciation, and that is there are so many other spiritual traditions that have holidays in this 40-day period. And I have included those holidays in the booklet because appreciation for our brothers and sisters who may not follow the same spiritual path that we follow is a very important aspect of being that love in the world. Being inclusive and not narrow-minded, having that wider viewpoint. And so one of the holidays, I just have to share this one with you because this is my favorite. Okay, they all have to do with bringing in light in some way because this is the darkest time of year. They all have to do with harmony and peace. They all have to do with that. They just come at it from different ways. But I discovered one that I had not heard of before. And the one I discovered was called Malahiki. Now that is a Hawaiian celebration. And what it is sometime in October and November, beginning at some point in October and through November, there are people who go to the windward side of the island and they look at the horizon. They look at the horizon and they wait until they can see Pleiades just hit the horizon. This marks the beginning of Malahiki. Malahiki is a 4-month, I want you to take that in, 4-month period of rest. I'm like, where do I sign up? period of rest. It is in celebration of the harvest, and they practice generosity, and there is no war during that 4-month period. So all the tribes agree that they just put down their arms for 4 months. This is a time of celebration. This is a time of rest. This is a time of renewal, and they take care of themselves for 4 months. That is a third of the year that they take off. And I think I could learn a lot from that. I could learn a lot from that. Even in the Daily Word today, it was talking about taking on too much. You know, what happens when we take on too much. That's not loving. And it's not loving when we don't take on what is ours to take on. It's really about listening to that divine presence within us. Knowing what is ours to do and what is not ours to do. That is love. Because love will only nurture us and the other. So I have one of these booklets for everybody. It did not turn out exactly as I had anticipated. But it is an act of love. There is a lot of love energy in this. And I want to thank Sherry, because yesterday afternoon and evening, Sherry and I worked on this.
Until 9 o'clock last night.
So it is an act of love. I hope that you gain something from it. Faith and appreciation are intrinsic parts of who we are. Meaning that they are qualities that are within us, regardless of whether we exercise them or not. But my encouragement is that we do exercise them. And so I'm going to invite us to take a moment to go into meditation. And in going into meditation, I just want to invite you to take a breath. Allow yourself to be fully present right here. Allow yourself to feel the energy in the room. Allow yourself to appreciate the energy in the room. However you're experiencing that, if you're experiencing this peace or just feeling the love of others in community, appreciate it. I appreciate this. This is a gift of spirit. I appreciate it. And allow that love and joy to build in your heart. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. I love and appreciate this ministry and all that this ministry is in this community. I love and appreciate the potential in this ministry. Community, connection, the growth, the expansion of consciousness. I appreciate. And I rest in the knowing that it is so. Amen.
Mm-hmm.